Green Bay is a small town, only 100,000 people. Those 100,000 people may be different in many ways, but there's one thing that brings them all together: the Green Bay Packers. In Titletown, the blue-collar city only knows hard work, tailgating, championships, but more importantly, they know family.
We have a saying in this town: faith, family, and the Green Bay Packers are all that you need. Sanjay and I grew up in Green Bay. You could say that we are Green Bay, or even better, the voices of Green Bay. We bring a local feel of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience.
Friendship, family, and football.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is the Freezer Podcast. What is up, everybody? We are back. It is finally football season. It is finally Freezer Podcast season. I am Sanjay. Alongside me, like always, is Matt and Fred, which was kind of a funny technical difficulty.
where'd it go?
At the bottom of the hour, but he will be here shortly. But we are the Freezer Podcast, where we bring you a local fear of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience. And we just want to say thank you, everybody, for waiting for so long on our arrival to the scene. We like to make you guys wait a little bit because we don't want to bore you with the same stuff over and over during the dead periods, as you already know. But with a lot of action happening all around the league, it is good. Hey, Fred, welcome back. I hope everything is good on your end. What timing? What absolute time?
Yeah, no, you know what? Here's the thing, man, is they're doing construction around our house, and it's just really inconvenient and rude, personally, that they don't
they
this
know?
around our schedule. Yeah, I mean, the city of Appleton, if you are here, if you're listening, I'm going to write a very long
page. It was
long
just
word
funny because we're like, okay, we're about to get started here, and I
thought-
if I didn't say, is he frozen? Like I
thought he was looking, trying to find the record button.
Yeah, and I was trying to watch his eyes blink, but he didn't blink. So
Blink.
I thought, okay, he's blink if you're safe.
If
All
you're
right,
alive,
here we are, guys. It is the 2023 season.
wow.
This is going to be the Rodgerless Rodgerless Packers, I guess you could say, and the new era of love. And today it's like a perfect day. We kicked off with the owners meeting. I was supposed to go this morning, but my kid gashed his head on a corner of a table, so he got two staples. And
whoa, hold on here. Staples in the head?
Damn, dude.
yeah, bro. He was climbing on the couch, and then he didn't have balance and went backwards, and then just douche right in the corner, and then he was obviously down for the count, but like blood a little bit everywhere, and then we're like, okay, I guess we're not going to the owners meeting. But it's okay. I've heard good things. I've heard the sites were pretty cool. The new Jumbotrons are up and ready. That's really cool to see. I hope they actually use the entirety of the screen, because sometimes it's like, oh, here's the Jumbotron, but let's put this in widescreen mode, and then we're not going to really give you the full full screen feature. That to me has always been a pet peeve of mine, but I do think, at least from the pictures, it does look pretty awesome.
I was there today buying. By the way, no comments on the flag. Hello.
Sorry. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
none.
it's no longer a Walmart flag. It might be Target. I don't know.
It's a Pro Shop flag. I
Shop
upgraded.
flag.
I went to Lambeau Field today because I wanted to see some of the hoopla, and they had the video boards were on. They have all the fencing down from around lot 1, so regular normal tailgating can return this year. It looks like it's cooking there, boys. It's football. It's definitely football season. It's live.
I want to know what promotion you got to upgrade on the flag.
Man, I had to haggle with my wife. She really wanted me to use the other. She's like, "What's wrong with the other flag?" I was like, "Well, I get made fun of for it because it's a Walmart flag and it's been there for 3 years." I'm like, it's kind of like part of me now, but I'm like, I feel like I got to switch it up.
I kind of wish you still had the flag, because there was something
I still have it.
Rag you on, but like, this is too nice of a flag that I can't. I have to give mad respect.
It's pretty badass.
It's like now I have to upgrade my background. You guys both have a great background. I literally have a door and maybe some Pokemon in the top right corner.
It's coming, dude. It's still coming.
It's still coming. Yeah. So Fred, your thoughts on this this, I guess, off season. Like, I mean, okay, I know everybody. We're probably going to
Yeah, yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the big elephant, but we'll get to that later. But obviously, this is a whole new era for Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, obviously, but even Mark Murphy too. We also are on the precipice of hosting a draft in 2 years, as you
Yeah.
already know. So the Green Bay Packers, or sorry, the Fox Valley, and hopefully the state of Wisconsin will prep together for this, because I do think there's more people concerned than they are excited about how we are going to actually handle this. But Fred, your thoughts, at least on the draft and possibly even uh the off season that has been.
Yeah, I mean, the draft's super exciting, right? I don't think that I don't have to speak too far onto that, right? We all love it. It's been one of our favorite things. I think it's something
Absolutely.
we all really like, kind of connected over throughout the last couple of years. It's something that I've always talked about being humongous, and it's going to be in our backyard, right? Like we're literally going to get to go. Uh, we can drive home at night. We don't have to fly somewhere, get hotels. I mean, maybe I'll stay at Matt's one night or something like that, just because
Please
I
do.
don't might not want to drive home because I don't know what the traffic
Sleepover.
situation is going to be like.
I was
But
gonna number party.
I mean, yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, people wanna get upset about it, I get it, like, but the truth of the matter is, like, there's no way that the kajillion, trillion, bagajillion businesses or, worth of businesses in the NFL and the Green Bay Packers and everybody would have made that decision had they not known that this was gonna be
Right.
successful in every possible way. Um, I'm just excited for people to, like, I really hope it's nice, right? Like, I hope we're not freezing here, and I hope it's beautiful, and I hope people come and they see Wisconsin in a different light, and they're like, "Damn, this place is really great," because spring and summer, I know it's gonna be more, end of winter time, but it's a great place. So I would love to see that. I'm excited for Quick Trip to thrive. Kroll's is gonna be out of control. Um, I'm excited just to, be able to bring my boys and go check it out. I think we've got some ideas and plans to kind of uh do some, Sweep Studios Freezer podcast stuff with some people around the area, and we're gonna get to meet a lot of crazy people. And I mean, I'm super excited about it, dude. I can't wait for it. And as far as off season, I mean, I know we'll talk more into it, but it's been a weird off season because like there hasn't been a lot of drama for us and then the NFL. I mean, there's like the departure, right? But I don't think it was drama at all, and that's great. I'm very happy for that. But it's just been kind of a kind of casual, under the radar. We're being talked about, but in like a very disrespectful way. Everything is going to be focused on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. That's fine. Let them have that. He clearly needs it. And I just hope that my biggest hope for this offseason is the boys get to be boys, right? Like they're all going to grow together. They're going to have some camaraderie, and there's going to be, a fun team to watch this year with tons of ups and downs. But that's really all I'm super excited about, is just to see kind of who rises to the top and what relationships we see kind of blossom through this, whether it's Love and LaFleur or Love and Jones or Love and Watson, Love and Dubs. Like, I mean, there's so many different opportunities. So
And just one notion on the draft too. It's like I understand the concerns, but it's one time. So even if we learn from this, like as NFL or even the Packers, there's going to be plenty of drafts. I hate that this is like an outcome of like, oh, if they do this and they screw this up, no one's going to get to host drafts anymore. But like, there's going to still be drafts in different cities all the time. And I actually love this comment. Imagine like the rookies just coming down the slot down the hill
yeah.
and then like shaking Rodgers' hand. That, I mean, obviously it'd probably
So
be
so
inside Lambeau, but
the ultimate question though is, yeah, where is it? Like, is it in the atrium? Is that big enough? Is it in like the Resch Center? Do they try to do it half outside like they did in Vegas, like with just a big stage like that, like somehow in
yeah, that's a really
Titletown?
good question.
Do they try to do they gut out the Nitschke and like maybe do it inside there with like the practice field being like I don't know. Like I mean, I'm super curious
There are a lot of cool
where it will be.
options, but do all those options have the capability of like having all the people in that one area? Because that's
Right.
another thing too. It's like where
Or
obviously
do they do
the stadium
yeah.
can obviously hold the max amount, but
But is there that many people that A, go to the draft, and then B, do they maybe use this as an opportunity to do like a multi-location type draft, like not in the sense of far distance, but maybe they have like a stage here and a stage there. And I don't know if that would work, right? Because people would be pissed if they didn't get to see certain people get drafted. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm assuming that they've got it figured out, but it would be. I'm very interested to see where they're going to end up doing it.
Yeah, I think it's what I heard was they might incorporate, like you said, Fred, they're going to use like the Rush Expo Center maybe as kind of the green room, and they'll use that to house the players, and there might be a stage kind of set up on that Armed Forces Drive, Oneida Street-ish area. I mean, I'm sure they'll incorporate like the atrium and kind of all the surrounding, Lambeau Village, if you will. So it's going to be interesting. I know the NFL was here the other week, kind of starting to plot it out. So I'm very, very curious to see what ends up happening here. But I am like you guys, I'm super stoked because the draft feels like something you'd always want to go to, but I'm not exactly sure that I'd ever like plan a vacation around it. I'd go, maybe if it was like Vegas or something like that next time. But the fact that it's going to be in our own backyard, I can get in my car and drive literally 5 minutes, to my north here and just be at Lambeau Field and the NFL draft, and basically the center of the sports world will be in this town. Like that's pretty cool, and not a lot of people can say that their hometown hosting one of these things. So I think the state of Wisconsin and Green Bay is definitely going to embrace sort of all things draft. And, for years, we always sort of like talked about it back here. Like, well, we're a little apprehensive to show off like little old Green Bay. What are people going to say? But I think you just got to go with it, man. I think that it's a showcase of a football town. And if you're going to try to hold it up to New York City or LA or something, yeah, it's going to be different. But I think if you just look at it as a one-off 1 year thing, kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean,
here's the other thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say that, I mean, we've been to a lot of games, right? All three of us have been to many games in many atmospheres, in many climates, and many whatever, just within Lambeau. How many times have you ever gone to a game and ever talked to anybody who's come to Green Bay or come to Lambeau and they've ever had anything really negative to say, right? If you're going to make the trip to Lambeau for the draft, it's no different than if you're going to make the trip to Lambeau to see Lambeau or to see a Packer game. The only people I think that really were bitching were your turdy beat writers that like were like, they're not gonna have the enough necessities.
Who that one guy? That one guy.
Like, yeah, the one guy that was like, I don't know
Denver.
if they have enough. Yeah, if they have enough spas for my feet, like, shut up. Like,
there's not enough dog therapists.
Right? What's what I'm saying? It's like, there's not enough 5-star hotels to like make me feel important when I write my paragraph and a half for a stupid ass freaking website nobody reads. Like that's
part of the experience,
only
right?
people that they're the only people that get pissed off about it. Those are the only ones, because anyone who truly loves football and loves the game will be like more than happy to
on the floor. They could sleep there,
Like, sorry, you got to rough it at the Super 8 down the street, but hey, they got Wi-Fi, and a bed, so you're gonna be
free
fine.
heroin, free free hepatitis, whatever you need, we got it, dude.
Yep, don't worry about it.
And you can have a brat while at it. I do think
and some cheese curds.
I do think it's going to obviously be an amazing thing where you got millions of people looking at a 100,000, population city. It does give you goosebumps.
Good morning, Scotland.
And let's move on to the future of this team. Obviously, we had an interesting draft based on the Aaron Rodgers trade, because obviously we were able to get a couple extra, items as far as draft compensation and obviously a player too. But now that we see this offense really shift into, I think it's the second youngest that's been in the league, I think, with pass catchers and a quarterback. So you look at
we only have three players over 30, I believe.
Yeah, it's like Bach, the punter.
It's Bach.
Yeah, the punter.
The punter, and then Preston Smith, I think, are the only three.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Preston.
That's crazy, man.
Which is wild. That's super wild, man.
Which is cool because honestly, it's if you have the right infrastructure and you have the right locker room and you have the right, like leaders, this could maybe work. Because there's a lot of times where there's a lot of young teams and they just have a dog shit, environment. And then it's a bunch of just, kids running around, acting a fool. And there's no sense of like order. Right. So that's why this is really unique situation where, the old guy's out and he's, out east. But now we have a new wave of like funk, I guess you could say, of just like, all right, they are a bunch of naive young little kids, but they might be able to have enough leadership in that locker room, as well as just enough, like, I guess, swagger or gumption in and of itself to maybe teach themselves, hey, this is how we're going to all learn together in the NFL and how we're going to grow as an offense, grow as a team. Are we expecting Super Bowl? Obviously not. But this NFC is so wide open that possibly, we could squeak in as a 7 seed, or hell, even win the division. I'm not counting us out as a division winner, because honestly, I got to see a lot more from Detroit other than potentially, this, up and down season where their offense is awesome, but their defense is dog shit. So I want to see more from them, but I want to get your thoughts, Matt, especially with this team and the youth as it is. But do you think that the pieces we have, because obviously a lot of talk is, DeAndre Hopkins, why didn't we go for him? Or, some sort of vet to kind of nurture these, wide receivers into this new era. But like, do you think the pieces in itself are good enough, or do you think they still need to figure that out?
I think they have some guys that are in place, and there's enough unknowns, but talent there that lead me to believe that, good coaching, enough reps, and some success early can get these guys really going. Youth can be a good thing, and it can be a difficult thing. So on one hand, you have a lot of young guys who are upbeat, ready to prove themselves, had the juice, etc. And for better, for worse, and maybe for better, if Aaron Rodgers out of the building, you have that giant looming personality, guy bigger than life, kind of bigger than the team, face of the franchise type deal. Out of the building, I think maybe everybody can relax a little more, I guess, maybe be themselves a little bit. I don't know if that's a thing or not. But in terms of the skill position guys, specifically on offense, I think it's going to be a true growth year. I think that everything you said, Sanjay, about, the Packers maybe contending for the playoffs, and we'll get into all that. And I think you're right, but I think that it's not going to come without some growing pains and early in the season. So I think that's why training camp obviously is going to be important. I think an interesting topic that we can talk about here through training camp is how much the Packers will use all their offensive starters. All of these guys need infinite amount of reps at this point, but how much are you willing to put out on tape for the rest of the league to look at, right? So that's an interesting angle.
Yeah.
But this year, man, I don't know. For the first time, I feel like without like expectations, like I'm truly in like an appraisal mode. Like I'm just interested to see how some of these guys come along. I'm not thinking about like, shit, we got to come out and got to go 4-0 right away, and we got to do this and that. It's kind of like I just want to see some
progress
steps being taken, progress, see what they've been doing. And I think in that light, if we keep that, that throughout the season, it's going to be fun to watch.
It's a refreshing feeling, honestly.
Absolutely. Refreshing is the word. Refreshed.
So I feel like the one thing I do want to see is Sanjay to do his laundry in the background, because that's depressing. But other than that,
blankets.
I'm just saying, it looks like
it's
laundry, dude. Come on, dude.
All right.
It's cold. I'm cold in my basement too. That's why I have a jacket. But no, to kind of echo what you said, Matt, like there's but like they don't have to like walk on eggshells, right? Like if they lose a game, like, oh my gosh, what's Aaron gonna say? Is he gonna be mad?
Or ran the wrong route,
Right. They're not, like that whole thing is gone. And I think that's gonna allow them to maybe breathe and just be a little bit more open and be able to like do what they want to do. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I think we've already seen it in a little bit of like tidbits of comments, right, from some of the players. Like they're not shots, they're not jabs by any mean, but you can just kind of tell that there's this little bit of exhale, right, that he's gone. Like, okay, we don't have to worry about it. We can kind of grow. We're gonna make mistakes, but we're gonna make mistakes together, and we're gonna kind of get through it. So I'm that's really what it comes down to for me, and I think it's gonna be, interesting to see how that kind of progresses throughout the year. But I do think, man, like I don't remember the last time I felt this way about going into a season. Like, it's not that I'm
2 decades.
It's almost so it's been a long.
Because honestly, when it went Favre to Rodgers, you're like, well, this team was 13-3 in 2007. Like they should just keep going. Like this is like, it feels like this is, but like you said, this is the one time like I don't have expectations. I do and I don't.
And it's not again, that's not something to be a knock of Jordan Love, because I do very much think that Jordan Love is going to be successful. I'm not going to say Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl. He is going to be a good, solid, successful quarterback. At least I believe. I don't, the days of 43 touchdowns and 3 interceptions ain't going to happen, right? It's not happened ever except for Aaron Rodgers. Like those numbers are ridiculous and completely unfair to have. But to have the thought process that Jordan Love can easily come in and facilitate, run for first downs, make good throws. We've seen good throws made by him, and then use the guys and the weapons like the Aaron Jones and the Dillons, and then hopefully some of those young receivers and tight ends with a good offensive line. There's no reason that I don't think he can't be a decent quarterback. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting, but yeah, to just not have like, I don't know. It's like, it's this weird, like freeing feeling. Sometimes I check myself because I'm like, do I care? Do I still care about the Packers?
It's like, where's
do I
my,
still
I
love
should be
like,
freaking out.
am I losing something? Because I just kind of have this like feeling of like, I'm not worried at all about what the team's going to do. I'm not worried about us being like a 2-15 team at all. I have no thought process on that. But I also have this feeling like if we don't go to the playoffs and go to the championship in the Super Bowl, I don't have to like have another cold, depressing winter. I can just be like, here we are, like if we go and we get maybe wild card, or we end up just shy of a wild card. Great. Now next year we're gonna get a little bit better, and maybe not. Who knows? But like
outside of just being
I'm
ass,
psyched for that.
like we don't want to be the Bears, right? Like I think that's the only like downside, right? Like we could, not that we would take a step back, but like maybe Jordan Love doesn't take the step that we're looking for. Maybe that would probably be the only downside that I could see. But you see the players have confidence in him. You heard Devontae Campbell a year ago say that he was already, saying that he's like better than a lot of the starting quarterbacks. You got Ja over there pretty much hyping him up. Which is
Darius
awesome.
Slay in the offseason.
Which they have to do, right? They can't obviously be like, wow, he's not really that good. But in the same breath, like they would be more,
they don't have to do anything though. So
it'd be more political about how they didn't say it. Yeah. Like it would they wouldn't even take the time to say it. They would just be like, no, man, we love J Love. It wouldn't be like, he's a great quarterback.
He works hard.
We really like him. He's a good guy. We appreciate his
out there partying. He's with his teammates. Like that's a good thing. Like the vibe is better. Like you all can like you guys are all around the same age. You guys have stuff to talk about. I think that's obviously a thing that we haven't seen from Rodgers in probably like 10 years, that he can't like, basically relate to the entirety of the team. Like, yeah, he's obviously loves his teammates and all that stuff, but like, can you really truly bond with your teammates, when you're that big of an age gap and honestly don't hang out with them as much as, because, Rodgers had a rock star status, he's not going to be hanging out with, I don't know, guys like Romeo Dobbs, obviously he didn't. You heard him say it. So like,
but he's best friends with Sauce Gardner now, apparently.
Well, you've heard some guys talk about Jordan Love saying how they're excited to play for him. And I thought that was interesting. Like they want to play for him. They've seen this guy the last 3 years, man, handle his business, wait his turn quietly. He shows up.
Is that sad though, Matt? I want to interrupt you here. Is that sad because the fact that possibly the players lost that faith or lost that loyalty to Rodgers? Because we wanted so long for him to have that support system, get him everything he needs to make that final run. Do you think that's kind of sad then that maybe they did start to give up these last couple years?
I think a little bit. And I think Rodgers himself sort of checked out, maybe not from like being a player, but from like the organization, it was part of being a good person to the team. And I think that the young receivers noticed that, and they said all the right things the last year or two, particularly last year with all the rookies. But I think if you got them in a room and told them no one's filming or listening, like they'd probably tell you something different. That like, yeah, I'm glad he's gone. Like I don't have to worry about, unless I don't break my rod off at 8 yards. And I did at 6. I'm not going to get an earful about it. I'll be coached a little bit. So I feel like that there's going to be some renewed, we already touched on it, optimism around sort of the morale and kind of how guys are coming together. So I'm really intrigued to see that and see them throwing out wherever they were, all the guys together. Like I've been dying for that the last couple of years for Rodgers to organize something like that.
Seeing them in Door County was super cool.
Yeah.
Seeing Bach and Tucker Kraft with
doing the Beer Olympics game.
Beer Olympics. That was super cool. And even that too, right? Like Bach is like supposed to be like Rodgers' really good friend, but like there was even a difference there too, right? Like Bach is kind of your boy, kind of your college guy. Obviously, he's has his child.
We did think he was like that at first, right? Because we thought maybe he was kind of on the out after that bussing with the boys kind of thing. But anyway, go ahead.
Yep.
I know, super weird. No, so I mean, I think there's maybe he's kind of seeing like, hey, this is kind of fun. This is a little less pressure filled. It's a little less, stressful than having Rodgers be such a tight ass about everything all the time. But Yeah, either that. I mean, it's. I think it's interesting, and we're gonna see some cool, fun things going on this year. I did want to ask you guys before we get too far into anything else. Um, what are your thoughts about the saga of the running back, right? The non-year of the running back and where the running back position has gone. I mean, we've seen things like this right throughout the years, right? We saw that with the tight ends for a little while, where tight ends were starting to kind of like feel undervalued, which I think they still are. But and they were like, we're going to start identifying, if you will. That sucks. I had to say that, but as wide receivers, basically, to start getting wide receiver money or edge guys as opposed to defensive end or outside linebacker guys. So we're seeing this now, this new situation where these top tier running backs are feeling completely undervalued and underpaid, which they are, but statistics show that it doesn't really matter, right? Like, you look at the teams that have the greatest running backs or the best running backs, they're not in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl winning teams are guys that have like third,
Three
fourth,
guys.
weird fourth, fifth, sixth round guys that nobody really cares about. And it just seems to be the direction of the NFL. So my question is, what do they do, right? If you're a running back, what's the best situation that you can kind of come up with? They got together, they talked about it, but what can they honestly do? And then also, how long do you see it like going on for, or will there be another resurgence where the run game takes precedence in the NFL again? Because us growing up in the 90s, right? That was
Yeah.
everything. I mean, it was all run. You had a couple guys that could throw the ball, like a Marino and a Favre and a Young, but it was 70 run, 30 pass. Now we're looking at like 90 pass, 10 run.
Yeah.
Where's the direction going?
Well, I feel like because the game, I would have said, yeah, the NFL's cyclical. Everything sort of comes back around. It's a circle. One trend leaves
Yep.
and it'll come back later on. But because of the rule changes in the NFL, I feel like it's just so heavily favoring the pass, and it's such an easy way to gain chunk yards, chunk plays, score points quickly. The teams are going to continue to invest there. The really difficult part is both sides have an argument. The running backs are workhorses. They're getting their asses whipped. I mean, they're taking on 300-pound linemen. They're getting tackled every single play. They're bruised up, and they're not getting compensated like some other people in or other positions. But on the other side, it's like the data clearly shows that once these guys hit 25, 26, they start to decline. And teams aren't going to fork out a bunch of cash and get kneecapped with dead money over a guy that's going to fall off a cliff, a couple years after signing an extension. So I don't know what they can do in the present to change this. I think maybe the one thing I would suggest, if the NFL can, would be allow them to renegotiate their deals at a quicker clip than maybe other positions, because the running backs are still heavily used in college for the most part. So they come out
Right.
high
That's the
mileage.
problem.
They come into the NFL and they're already their bodies are already beat up. And so then they give you 3 or 4 years. By the time they hit the end of their rookie deal, they're toast, or some of them are. So
Yeah, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, gone are the days you don't have the Adrian Petersons anymore. Like, that's the
No.
thing too, is like these teams, like the lot, like
committee.
Eagles, 49ers, us kind of like
Yep.
it's so committee based now. And even like Christian McCaffrey, he wasn't even getting that many times. Like, Elijah Mitchell was still getting a strong amount of those carries for the San Francisco 49ers. There was more impactful snaps from Christian McCaffrey, obviously, that led to touchdowns. But like, you're seeing that where to maybe answer the question would be, obviously the market has to change. The market has to change for the running back, where gone are the days where you're going to probably get like 16, 17 mil a year for a running. Like, that can't happen. Like, I don't even think there's a guy out there that's even warrants that. Another thing too, is I think you need to have these criteria too. Like, what is the criteria of these contracts? Because if it's 1,000 yards rushing and 800 yards receiving and a minimum of 50 receptions, do you get a certain bracket? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you have these brackets, like you fall into this bracket, then boom, that's what you get. Like, that's how you get paid, kind of thing.
I think it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was when Alvin Kamara at one point was negotiating a new deal. He wanted wide receiver-ish money because he was catching
just like
so many
him and
catches.
Jimmy Graham, right?
So,
Jimmy Graham,
so I
too.
feel like maybe the argument is, well, maybe we're not getting the ball 30 times out of the backfield, but I'm getting the ball 24 times. 12 of it's going to be on the ground and 12 of it's in the air. I'm still getting a ton of touches, etc., and contributing. but maybe not as a running back, per se as it used to be. So maybe that's one argument they can go with. But
Or
again, the NFL is so bizarre about stuff like that and negotiating. So I have no idea how much they can change.
Well, the land of incentives, we have all these incentives for these players where it's like, oh, you make the Pro Bowl, you get this X amount. Hey, like then maybe you put in these contracts. Hey, if you meet, this, and this on your contract, then you get these sort of perks or incentives. I mean, I guess that's all based on the coach then, because if you're not getting put in the game, then obviously you're not going to meet the, you know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah,
there's got to be a way.
Think of like Aaron Jones, right? The last like 3 years. Think if his contract was incentivized and you had, Rodgers never gave him the ball, never wanted to pass it to him
during the McCarthy days.
Like, I mean, he would have been like, I'm out. I want out of this. I mean, there's gonna be trades left and right because players are going to be like, they don't give me the ball enough. He audibles out of the run plays. He doesn't want to do this. I need another 5 touches. If I don't get those 5 touches, I don't get that $1 million. Like, and if the quarterback doesn't like the guy or doesn't give 2 craps about him, he's not going to let him get those runs. And I think then you start getting into a slippery slope where then every position starts to say, okay, well, now if I have this,
the players agreed to this in the collective bargaining. They're the ones who said, hey, we need to be put at this bracket of, when we come out of the draft or blah, blah. And even the teams were like, yeah, we're done giving Sam Bradford $80 million.
I mean, I hate saying it, but I mean, it kind of feels like it's the ultimate. It is what it is. The game has changed. The rules have changed. Yeah. I don't foresee the NFL ever going back to a run dominant league. You have to score points in this league, and being a ground and pound team, while sometimes effective, ultimately, if you look at it, as you mentioned, Sanjay, before, doesn't translate to Super Bowls. Go look at the last, 10 or 12 dozen, not 12 dozen, but a dozen last 12, right? And none of them have A-lister running backs. They're kind of like by committee or a guy that's a little washed, etc. So it's not the big top 3 guys winning it.
No, I mean, it's always guys that are kind of almost like those,
like James Starks from
Leonard Fournette.
Like that's in Leonard Fournette's probably the most famous name on that list, only because of when he was originally drafted. But when you think about him with Tampa, you think about the running backs out of Kansas City, the running backs out of Philly, the running backs in Buffalo, the running backs in there's
New England.
They're not there. But then you think of the best of the best, right? The Nick Chubb, they're not even getting in there. The Zeke Elliott for that long, that didn't happen. Anything.
I mean, technically, Marshawn Lynch was the last one.
I think he's probably the last one.
Yeah. Technically. Yeah.
And that was what? They won that, 2013, 14?
13,
so that's about 10 years. Yeah.
That's about 10 years. Yeah. I mean, the fact remains, it's pretty slim.
Yeah. And you're right. I don't think it's going to change. And I don't really know how it changes, right? Because it's like, we've already started to see the slow decline of it with like no running backs getting drafted in the first round really ever. Right. We think about when we were kids, you'd see 10 running backs drafted in the first round. Now teams are, actively not doing it unless you go after someone that you might think is generational, like a Bijan Robinson. But even still there, like that's still, it's good in that situation.
Yep. Well, and a good point mentioned in the chat was that a lot of more QBs are running more. I mean, guys that aren't even necessarily like a Lamar Jackson. You're seeing, Josh Allen guys like kind of supplementing the run game a little bit, and I think that's also contributing to
add to your point, Matt.
Jordan Love, and you have all the running backs, all the quarterbacks that were drafted this year outside of Will Levis are running quarterbacks.
They got legs,
mobile, if you will. Yeah,
Matt, when you said like the whole life cycle of a running back kind of peaks at like 26. You're right in the sense of that a lot of these guys are peaking or are in their like almost like their prime right out of college. Whereas like a quarterback, you have that time frame to wait because they don't get to, and obviously they have a longer like longevity too, but they can get to like almost 2 contracts before they're even, in their prime.
Stride. Yeah.
And then obviously, I know we talk about the time.
But to be fair to that, they don't usually get that up. They don't get that leash. Right, quarterbacks get a year or 2, and if they're not good,
right, in
the
system,
they go somewhere else,
obviously
and then
it's
they're gone.
Based, but that can apply to running back too. If they're not in the right system, I mean, if you came to a running back as a McCarthy running back, you ain't getting the ball. Like, let's just be honest. And then Matt.
Why do you think they didn't figure out a deal with Pollard and Zeke Elliott's still on the street? They don't care.
Right, exactly. Like
we told you, Dallas.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of a sad, like, truth. I mean, I'm
Wild.
kind of glad in this case that Aaron Jones has got to be pretty happy in this point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he took a pay cut. Joe Mixon took a pay cut. You got Dalvin Cook just sitting on the sideline. I mean,
Big
you got
names.
Alvin Kamara.
I can't believe these guys haven't been signed for like, camp bodies minimally.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook is honestly probably my favorite running back in the entire league outside of like maybe
Aaron
I just think he's fantastic. I mean, well, besides our own guy, of course. But yeah, I mean, you think about him, you think about Josh Jacobs just dipped out on Vegas.
Oh yeah,
see you guys later.
Saquon,
he's gone. Saquon, basically, that's done. I don't see how that's gonna. I mean, maybe they rectify it, but I mean, it's kind of wild, and it's even weirder to think that, like, you're right. Like, there's nobody like clamoring at the door.
Isaiah Pacheco from the 7th round. It's like, what do you? That's Aaron Jones in the 5th. Like, this is exactly the reason you don't need to pay these guys, because you could find. I mean, hell, the guy that we drafted this year from where's that running back from? Minnesota.
It was. I know you're talking about. He
has
like
BC. I can't remember. But anyway, he's like BC. The leading rusher 2 years ago in college. Yeah. Like, it doesn't take much to get these guys. So go ahead, though, Matt.
I feel bad for him, but it's kind of like you almost need, I don't want to say a generation of players to move on, but it'll kind of correct itself because, kids coming up playing football will kind of move away from the running back position. And I'll be curious to see if it's just the offense is just generally just start maybe moving a wide receiver back there. If you're only going to hand the ball off a few times, get a guy maybe built a little bit more hefty.
Patterson, basically.
No, exactly. Look at him. Exactly. Just
even like Aaron, I mean, and I've preached this on this show 1,000 million times. I mean, Aaron Jones, I think, is one of the best receiving running backs in the game outside of maybe McCaffrey. And I think that, like, with those types of situations, I think there could be some wiggle room, right? Where you could sort of see, like, how do we pay them differently because they are a threat. Whereas like a Nick Chubb, who's kind of your classic thumping running back, like, how do you get to that with him? I don't know how you do. The Browns will, because the Browns are the Browns. But ironically, the funny thing is Charlie came up to me the other day and we were talking about, he's at the age now where he can go up for flag football next year. And we were just talking about whether or not I wanted to put him in it. And he's like, I want to be the running back. I was like, I don't know how to do this, man.
I don't know, man.
Tread lightly.
Watch the show today. Let
me show you Twitter quick.
Work on them hands. Let's work on them hands real quick.
Well, all I know is the running back position's down so hard that even Le'Veon Bell had to come out and admit his mistake about the whole holdout with the Steelers, which I found so satisfying.
I want to have.
We might see more. We might get to see some more white running backs in the game, though. Too. That could be interesting.
Let's go.
Hey, appreciation text, or like at least shout out to Aaron Jones. You said that he might be one of the best. I think he might be the best pass catching, because I'm going to tell you this right now. Outside of sheer like volume from McCaffrey or Kamara, how many guys are actually making the acrobatic catches like Aaron Jones?
Okay. I will totally. So as soon as I said it, my first thought that popped in my head was like
that Raiders game.
I don't know.
Catch.
Well, I was gonna say all those wheel routes that he would catch on the
sideline. 30 yards of the field.
Dude, I've not seen a running back do that in a long time.
McCaffrey's like, in the like over the middle, or
dude,
like
the Madden route,
the HP angle. Everybody knows it. Deadly.
But Aaron Jones, like, kind of legitimate runs like receiver route. So you're right. I mean, I do think he is
maybe Bijan tops it. I don't know, but
we don't.
I haven't seen
him in the game yet, dude.
Yeah. He's not. Yeah. All right, let's move on real quick. Let's get to it's about 7:40 here. Why don't we talk about some predictions here? Because I think we've all love predictions, and we do some way too early predictions on our show because we're just so damn bored. It's been like 2.5 months since we've been behind the mic, and we just need some sort of action because we're the Packer junkies. But we'll start with Matthew. I'll start with you two because you guys have no sense of like actual like facts. Because you guys just are such big homers that I don't think there's going to be a loss on the schedule with you guys, but we'll give it a shot. We're always coming back to see what happens here with these predictions. But Matthew,
now do I need to give like a win total?
No. I mean, we could either do win total or we could just go break down the like.
Let's.
I'll break down each game and I can write it down.
Well, we
remember,
could
last year I had the best record out of all of us. So again, Sanjay
that's
and his
okay,
scheduled
here
pick,
we go.
his predictions,
Yeah.
topped again your boys.
They
That
don't call him
everybody,
San Genie for no reason. He's Genie.
yeah, exactly. So I will write these down again. In fact, I'll put it next to the one that we had from last year because you know what? It was so cool that I should get it maybe framed and I should start.
What was the final on that?
Here, let me see here quick.
Eh.
You don't know it off the top of your head.
I'm pretty sure I had it. Did not have us making
tattooed on your arm or something.
Oh, right here, right here. I found it. Okay, so just kidding. That's golf picks. Sorry.
Oh God.
Oh, come on, get it together.
I might not have the right notebook here, so sorry.
Yeah.
Next time we'll do a show next week. We'll make it.
We'll do it next time. We'll bring it out next time. But anyway, let's get this thing kicked off. It's September 10th. It's in Soldier Field. It's Chicago. Matthew, what do you have?
We're going into okay. It's been there's been no more annoying fan base in all of sports than the Chicago Bears, who I have to remind them again. You guys won 3 games last year. 3. You guys act like you won 13. You won 3. I understand you brought some guys in. That said, Packers, who have been taking it, from the media, nobody believing him. Everybody thinks Justin Fields is going to be like some dark horse MVP candidate. I saw somebody say he's going to be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. Nay, Packers go in there and stun the Bears. I don't have a score.
Is it really stunning?
I can just see it. Yeah, I mean, at this point, not to me, but I just personally want that because that whole
team won 3 games. You just said how is it stunned?
The whole fan base deserves just to have a huge slice of humble pie served up on the first game.
So shocker, you picked us to win.
Fred,
right?
I think you're muted.
Is he frozen again?
I'm gonna
No,
no, I'm
okay.
good. I'm gonna go W, and I'm not gonna. It's the fucking Bears. I'm not gonna spiel about why we're gonna beat the Bears. We're gonna beat the Bears.
Yeah, I won't opine like that. We'll just go through them.
We got 20 minutes. If we do that every single game, we're gonna be here till.
Okay, you're right.
I
Yeah,
was
okay.
talking about. I'm like, I'm going too long. I know.
I can't pick against the Bears because again they won 3 games and I think
come on.
Justin Fields threw for 100 yards like 3 times that entire year. So until he shows me something, let's move on to the Falcons, who happen to be the dark horse team from a lot of people. So your thoughts, Matthew?
They are wearing their red helmets that game, which I think are super sick. But
yeah, I agree.
We cannot be mesmerized by that. I don't know the Falcons. I think they're going to be something, but I think the Packers could win 2-0. They're going to beat the Falcons. They're going to do it.
I'm going to go W again, just because there's just so much unknown with them, and I feel like they have a lot of young talent, but a lot of unproven talent. I don't really have trust in the quarterback.
No quarterback.
I don't know what the defense is, so I feel like. I would just say, like, if I'm just going 1-to-1, I'm saying our defense is better than their defense, and I'm going to say our offense is better than our offense. So by that fault, I'm going to say we win.
Who are the receivers now? Not that I don't. Calvin Ridley's gone.
Well, you got the young kid Drake London.
Oh, Drake London. That's it. Drake London. Yeah.
And then you have Kyle Pitts, and then Bijan. I don't know what else they have after that. The Zacchaeus or Almighty
Zacharias something. Yeah.
Zacharias. Yeah, something like that. Okay. You guys have wins there. Is that what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not ready to give us a loss yet. I think we're a better overall team than them. So yeah, I'm going win there. All right, Saints. We suck against the Saints. So
is it in New Orleans?
Not in Lambeau. Not at Lambeau. No, it's a home opener.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a big difference.
I think the Saints can be kind of bad. I think the Packers can win this.
We couldn't even beat them in Jacksonville, let alone in New Orleans last time.
Yeah, but it's Florida. We don't beat anybody in Florida.
You could argue we don't beat anybody in Lambeau either now.
Well, that's hit or miss these days.
All right, what do you got?
But home opener, I think going to win. Dub.
I think it's gonna be our first legitimate test, no doubt about it. I think Carr's I like Carr. I've always liked Carr, and I know everyone makes fun of me for liking him, but I think that's a beautiful situation for him in New Orleans. And
I make fun of you.
They've got a lot of good talent there. But I think home opener, I'm gonna run with us in the home opener, man. I can't let it go down that way.
If we start 3-0,
that would be a sad day if it's the home opener. Jordan Love's there and we lose it. I feel like everybody's gonna freak out.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr is trash. So I'm gonna give us the win there as well.
really
I don't know
trash.
this love
He was
infatuation.
on the fucking. He was on the
for-
freaking Raiders, dude.
Okay,
Like,
and he
you know what?
had Devontae Adams and Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs,
And
who had a career
Devontae
year.
Adams and Devontae Adams had a career year.
Who's
as well,
he have
so
now, other than the rookie from last year?
He's
Well,
got
they have
Olave.
Thomas.
They
Yeah,
have
Olave.
Michael Thomas,
Olave. They
who's
have
like 96. They have a
Michael
good
Thomas
defense. They always have a
washed.
good defense. Don't forget
they
about
got
the
the
defense.
kid from Wake Forest, the 7th rounder that
Yeah.
I wanted.
They're a good. They're not going to be bad. And I'm going to tell you right now, Carr is going to be better because he's not in a shit pile place.
I'll
Like
take a
Vegas
side bet
or
with you on that.
Raiders.
I don't think he's even top 20 quarterback this season. So
All right,
Top
we'll side bet it.
20?
Write it down.
Do
Write
it.
it down.
Please.
we have a show.
No, it's
I don't
on
have to
there.
write it down. It's already recorded for all
yeah.
millions to see. All right. We got
Are you
at
going
home
W or
against
no?
the what?
Did you go
I had a
W or
W.
L?
I had a W. I'm not
Okay,
scared of them.
good.
So right now we're 3-0. All three of us, we are 3-0.
Could you imagine?
Could
Oh
you
my Lord.
imagine? Where
It's
were
gonna
you?
be-
But then we host again because we're like, hey, home opener. Let's have another one quick against Mr. Bite Your Kneecaps.
I hate admitting it, but the Detroit Lions, I think they've beaten us more than they've lost to us in the last 3 years. So I'm gonna go L. We're gonna lose.
L.
They got our number.
Interesting developments. Matthew or
We'll
Fred?
see though. The Lions could start slow and they could win that game, but I'm gonna say loss for now.
Gosh, man, I don't know. That's such a weird one for me. I'm gonna say
It is.
I'm gonna say W, and I'm gonna say W
Whoa.
only because of this, because I don't buy into any of the Detroit Lions hype. I also
They're
think
slow
that
starters too.
I think they take a little bit to get going. I think if they don't start off good, I think there could be a lot of issue with that front office and that coaching staff. I
It
know
could
that he is
unwind.
good, but it could go crazy. It's Detroit. They don't have any allegiance to anybody. He could retire and go hang out.
And they
with
just
Jerry Hughes and
lost
Calvin
one of their
Johnson.
corners today.
I know.
CJ.
So I don't know. So I don't buy him. So I'm gonna go W. We're going 4-0, baby.
All right. Well, I'm not as scared as Matt, but I have to be a tiebreaker here, regardless, whichever way we go.
You don't have to. You could just speak from your heart and stop being a
tie?
jackass.
Okay, well, I'm being
Oh,
realistic. That's
tie?
what I do here. I give you
you're
realistic
realistic.
picks, and that's all right. Well, the Lions really don't scare me, other than the fact that maybe, depending on what happens in the Saints game, because if we get annihilated by the Saints, that could really linger into the next game, your first divisional game at home, and then you could probably lay an egg to a team that has no. I mean, do you think they're still playing with nothing to lose, or now do you think they feel like they're the team to beat?
That's a good point. No, that's a
Great
good
point. They
because
feel the
before
pressure.
they've been playing all this time with nothing to lose, and everybody's
Well,
like,
they were the
those
big
silly Lions."
underdogs. They were
Yeah.
the gritty underdogs, and now it's like now they've got some pressure.
But now they got this hype around
handle
them.
it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Handle it after they won a
say
Super Bowl. It's a W, baby. Come on now, come on, boy.
I'm gonna
Come
go
on,
with
get the
Matthew.
W.
I'm gonna go L.
You son
I only
disgusting.
because I don't know what Jordan Love is. We have what 1, 2, 3 games already. Bears, Falcons, and Saints with Jordan Love. What Jordan Love will be? Is he 0-3? Is he 3-0? Or is he 2-1? 1-2? What is he into that Detroit game? That's kind of where I'm going with the L here.
Well,
But
okay,
it very well
going
could be
game by
4-0,
game
like
here.
you said. All right, Raiders.
I know.
Raiders. At Raiders in
at
Vegas.
Raiders.
Can the young kids stay out of trouble? Do they
That's to be
get back in curfew?
Shout out to my buddy Saul who's tuning in. He's watching along right now. But I
What
want to
up, Saul?
say the Raiders, like God, Jimmy G. That's a tough one, man. Devontae, like they got
really
a
this
decent.
hard?
potentially
I'm
no running back.
I'm
I'm gonna
sorry.
go
Yeah,
W.
yeah, thank you,
W.
Fred.
I feel crazy saying this because I in my brain I'm like no way, but
5-0
we're
start?
5-0. I don't know how. I still think that the Saints is the only game that I really genuinely question. So even at best it's 4-1, but I'm gonna go 5-0.
I'm gonna
And I'm not
continue
being
the
crazy
streak.
with that.
I'm gonna continue the streak. When I go to a away game, we win. So I will be in Vegas during this game. So I will
It's
go
always
with W.
why is it all about you? This has nothing to do with you.
He's his
It
own lucky
actually
rabbit
does.
foot.
It's the game
Well,
that
I
we're
actually
freaking
planned on
playing.
I usually shave my armpits between week 6 and 7, so that should be.
And we don't lose when I shave my armpits.
Well, don't shave my armpits.
All right, Denver at Denver. The new is Russ gonna cook with this new?
I'm taking it now. Here's our first.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know why. I can't define it, but I just feel like Denver's gonna have a better year, and they're gonna be way more prepared than whatever happened last year.
There's
So
no way
I'll
they
go
can
lost.
be as bad as that. Last
Yeah.
year,
I like Sean Payton.
There's so much talent on that team. There's no way they can be that bad.
Yeah, I'm taking an L as well. And you get Javonte Williams back. He should be back by week 6, I think. But
Russ, as much as annoying as Russ can sometimes be, he's just not a loser. Like he's not gonna keep.
He kind of is.
He'll figure. I mean, he's a loser.
Well, he's a
like
loser,
a life
like-
loser, but he's not like a.
Yeah.
No,
loser.
he's also
Like,
a loser because he's lost the Super Bowl and he's lost now multiple playoff appearances. So
Mr. Unlimited.
by accord,
So
is
is
a
Aaron Rodgers. So then Aaron Rodgers.
I would call
is
him a
also
loser too. He's been a loser for like 20 years.
Mr. Unlimited. Okay.
Mr. Unlimited.
Vikings home game. The big rivalry.
I don't care if the Vikings are starting a all-star team. I'm picking the Packers. Fuck the Vikings.
Kirk Cousins. Did you watch quarterback? Are you buying in on the dad hype?
No, and they've lost so many big name. Like I know they're aging guys, but dude, people say the Packers are rebuilding. Go look at what's happening in Minnesota. They're rebuilding just because they have. They let Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook, their best weapon outside of Justin Jefferson. They let him just walk. And they draft Jordan Addison, who's already in trouble. Like I agree.
They do have TJ Hawk. I don't know how we stopped TJ Hawk.
I agree with that.
Quay Walker.
And I think he did play. Yeah, Quay Walker.
Unless he gets himself ejected.
Quay Walker was the best in pass coverage as a linebacker last year.
Okay. Yeah. Are you giving us a W?
Give him another.
W. Oh yeah, we don't lose. I would rather cut.
I don't lose the Vikings either. I hate them. All right, Rams. Do they have a revival? Do they bounce back? Matt Stafford
have a quarterback?
rejected the contract.
Quarterback.
What?
If this was in LA, if this was in LA, I would probably pick the Rams. But it's at home, and we've just had their number.
Why would you say that? Rams have no home field advantage.
Well, it had nothing to do with home field advantage. I just think we travel west. We don't travel well west.
Okay,
I don't know why, but they come here, and they got to be pissed. They got to be going, when the hell are the Packers going to come here? But I'll have the win.
Who do they even have? Who do they have on their offense? Like who's their offense?
Cooper Kupp.
That's it.
I know, but besides him, obviously that. But like who else?
Cam Akers.
They got
Tyler Higbee.
Allen Robinson left. Odell left.
Yeah,
Akers, I guess, but Akers is still weird.
Akers is trash too.
He shows up.
Yeah, I don't care.
They don't have a lot. It's really Cooper Kupp and that's
no Jalen Ramsey.
Are you giving us a win here, Fred? We got 7 minutes.
Yeah, I'll take a W here.
I'm taking a W as well. I don't like.
I'm feeling, but I look at this. I look at mine, and I'm like, okay, that's like that would suggest we're going to be a fucking hell of a team, and I'm like,
that's what. Yeah, right now Fred has 1 loss.
Juggernaut.
But the thing is, it's not
our schedule. But does favor them.
But potentially, okay. But I would say I would lean 2. Right, I would say Saints would be another one that I'd go with.
God, I hope we don't go 0-7.
But still, but you're right, Matt. Our schedule is not that hard. Look at the schedule.
No,
right,
it's not bad.
Why can't we have this last year, man?
Look at the Jets schedule.
Yeah, they have a tough one.
Okay, but then Richard Sherman and Adam Shine are like, this team's gonna be so trash. And anyway, this is looking exactly the opposite.
Richard Sherman has hated the Packers since he's.
You're right. At Pitt,
breathe too many air.
The 2-glove guy.
Kenny Pickett. I don't know, man.
Or Pickett, I mean.
Any 2 gloves.
Steelers are a gritty team. You know, they like to grind them out. I don't know. The Packers are young. We'll see if they can do that. But I think going into Pittsburgh, I'm gonna say it's an L.
Whoa.
Fred? I also am gonna give it an L. I think it's gonna be it'll be a punch in the mouth type game.
Yeah,
and I think
physical.
I think like Najee Harris, that defense is a lot better.
Yeah.
We should have Rashawn Gary back. I'm not scared of this offense. I'm giving us a W.
Okay.
It's nice to see you actually positive for once in your life.
Kenny Pickett is not that
Kenny
great.
Pickett's a joke. No, Kenny Pickett's
I don't think he's
a joke.
Yeah,
but they have a lot of pass catchers.
I do think in Pittsburgh's a scary place to play. They have a good
We've actually done pretty well in Pittsburgh.
I know their defense is good, and I do like I think Tomlin's an incredible coach.
He is.
Like,
Yeah, I love
arguably one of the
Tomlin.
most underrated.
But he
coaches
has
of
a
all
lot of L's against us.
Absolutely. I can see it.
Chargers at home.
Well, I
L.
noticed immediately that this is a gold package game, which means it'll be quiet.
You
So
can't say
a
that.
loss.
I think
Loss.
they've gotten better.
Loss.
They've gotten better.
I will never change my tune.
All right, fine.
Hey, I lead the charge with those guys, man. I got it on the figure. I got an L on that one for sure.
Really?
There's so much
Well,
talent on that team.
Well,
dude.
and it's a part of the season where
I
the
would
Chargers
say- I would
play
say
well. They
this.
slow.
Yes, and I also think that it would have to be a shootout, and that's where I
Yeah.
get a little nervous with Jordan
Mhm.
Love. Is
Yeah,
we don't
they
have
do,
that
yeah.
ability to shoot out. Now
This
we have
is-
the ability to control the clock and to run the ball, and I think that's different. But like if it gets like where we're down 14 or 21 because Herbert's just
happening.
throwing for crazy, we're down. I think we're it's
I'm
gonna be too hard.
not gonna lie. Before Sean Payton went to the Denver Broncos, I actually
Chargers.
thought what?
Yeah, I would have
should
been
go to the Chargers.
I
That
thought
would've
the
been a way better
Chargers was going to be actually our first loss.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
That was kind of pre Rodgers gone / Jordan Love. I mean, like we've been saying, the schedule is very favorable. I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
see a team that.
Okay, so but
actually
why were you
scares
just
me.
kind of giving me crap about having my opinion?
Well, because someone has to.
Okay, that's a logical answer.
Thank you. I don't really
thanks.
have a reason for you. At Detroit now. Now we're in the Motor City.
Well, I
swear to
have
God,
to
you
use,
go
I have to use
You
my
go
own
0-2.
logic.
Yeah, you go 0-2 against the
I'm gonna
Lions.
go-
This is
I'm
a
gonna-
whole
I'm gonna
new
take-
Matthew.
I'm gonna take the L this game because I think
Okay.
we'll be exhausted after playing the Chargers, and I think in
After the-
Detroit, I think we're gonna be
Back-to-back.
beat up. I think we're gonna be beat up. It's that part of the season where everything, I just think we're gonna take an L.
Right now, Fred has 3 losses in a row. Just to mind you,
Yeah, and look who's coming up.
are
after
the
this
rail
game, by the way.
are the wheels off the rail for Fred now because you've had 3 losses in a row. Heartbreaking, probably too.
I'm gonna say, man, I
mean,
don't want to pick a
solid
loss, but
losses. You can't
To
go.
your
you can't
credit,
get swept by
we're not-
Detroit. It's
no,
Detroit. They're
win.
not that. It's Detroit.
W. We're paying back.
Thank
That
you.
sounded
got it
like
right.
peer pressure. That was a peer pressure pick.
Kind of was a little
It
bit.
sounds like somebody who's genuinely afraid of the Detroit Lions.
That's
well,
what I'm
it's,
saying.
not. It's just that they've.
I'm
got,
on Raw is
they don't
scary.
play
I'm
well.
on
They
Raw
play
is
well.
scary. And
I-
Jared
listen,
Goff
they-
somehow has done really well for them.
But he's not been a consecutively good quarterback in seasons.
And he's
back-to-back,
terrible
Yeah,
against
even in
pressure.
LA.
So hopefully
When Matt Prater, threw a
Luke
touchdown,
Van
that
Ness
just
gets
broke me.
fucking good. And
Matt.
then, excuse my language, and Rashawn Gary is pumping out sacks by that time, hopefully. I have an L too. I'm going L.
All right.
So now Fred is really off the rails because we have the
I-
Chiefs. So could potentially be 0-4 in the month. The black.
Yeah, but
Go ahead,
we
Matthew.
still got 7 wins.
This could
It's
possibly be 5 losses in a row. But anyway, go on.
At home?
I'm gonna.
At-
I would say W because Pat Mahomes is gonna be hurt. He's gonna
Is
be
that
injured.
what you're? That's
I
what
don't know
you're
why I
hoping
want to
for?
pick the. I want to pick the Packers in this game, but I guess I got to go with the Chiefs.
Fred, are you only picking us to win because you don't want to go 4 in a row?
No, I would say. I mean, Jordan Love almost beat the Chiefs the last time he played.
That was with Devontae Adams.
He played pretty good. No, I'm gonna say L. I mean, let's just be realistic. I can't. I mean,
Thank you. I've been asking
There's
that
no
for
possible way.
4 years.
I
with
would
you
also
people.
say. I would also say that there's okay, but this is different than when the season starts. I'm gonna go W every week. But
Oh, yes, exactly,
This-
exactly. So
I
enjoy
would
this one
say
last.
This is
yeah,
exactly
Jordan-
why we can't have predictions. You two cannot be realistic. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you
I am
get-
right
you
now.
get- you get realistic today, July 24th.
Yeah. So
after
enjoy
this
it.
is just, if you
Homer
tell me
Matt's
about
coming
any of
out.
if you tell me about any of these after today, I'm gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never
Yeah, I
said
never
that.
What's your
that.
pick, Matt?
Um,
What's your pick?
Loss.
I have us loss.
Yep.
Giants at Giants. Dable.
Oh,
Wink.
man.
No
They
Barkley.
trashed. They made us look silly last year in London.
Payback.
No
win.
Saquon potentially. I don't know. Do they have a deal done with Saquon?
And I would also say my other concern with this game is following that's the bye week, and we always tend to play a little half-asser before the bye week.
What are you talking about?
That's
Our bye
true.
weeks are
And we have the
like-
bye week after the Giants.
no.
No, it's early.
Yeah, we do.
We have it at the Raiders.
Yeah,
I
we
thought
have it
we had
really
it
early.
at
Week
Giants.
6.
We have week 6 bye. Last year it was week 14.
Sorry,
bye.
no,
Okay.
I'm thinking of the Giants bye. I was looking at their schedule. Sorry, that's my fault.
You got a win or a loss?
Well, wait. So
I
ours
suppose.
is week 6. So when is that? When do
I
who
said
do we
win.
play after our bye?
Denver.
And I said a loss. I might not want a loss. The Fleur's good there.
Don't worry,
Do you
dude. You're
want to
gonna
win?
pick a
Do you
W
want to
when the
win?
game's
You
done.
can go back. You can go back in time. I'll allow it.
Okay. Sorry, Giants. What do you got, Matt?
Win.
I got lost.
I'm gonna go W. I'm gonna go W2. I don't think they replicate what they did last year. Don't worry.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Danny
I got
Dimes.
lost. I'm at a
Big
4-game
Dick
losing
Abel.
streak. Holy shit! I'm at 4-game losing.
Oh, it's coming off the rails for Sanjay. What's he gonna
It
do?
might. It might.
what's
Bucks home.
Win. They're gonna be
Dub.
bad.
Yeah, Baker
Dubs.
Mayfield or someone else. He might lose
don't
his
care.
job by then.
Teddy Bridgewater.
That's a W from Fred. I also
Same.
have a W. At Panthers. Can the Rook?
Dub.
Dubs.
I also have W, but this could be a shockingly good team. Watch out.
I agree with
They
that.
could
I
be-
think
they
there's
could be
some
good.
talent there.
At Vikings. Automatic dub because you don't like the Vikings, right?
Dub.
I have loss.
You
We
would.
always lose in Minnesota.
That's why okay, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. I just refrained myself from saying
At
something
the
really
COVID
shitty,
year.
and
The COVID year, we
It
slapped
would have
them.
been bad.
All right. Do you have a win or not?
Do I have a win?
Yeah.
Of course
Yeah,
he
I'd
does.
rather jump off a cliff half naked with my side of my leg.
And we're across the board on dubs at home against the Bears last game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, obviously.
I think that's for me.
It's playoffs, baby. It's playoff football. Let's go.
11-6 or 10-7.
I got 10 wins. I got 10 wins.
Frankly, I think 10 wins can win the NFC North this year.
I got 5 losses, so I can't do the math.
Wow.
anymore.
12-5,
Shockingly.
12-5.
12-5 for Matthew. I mean, I don't know how homer
me?
that kid. Yeah.
No, for me. Oh, you're 12-5 too? Matthew!
Oh, damn, dude. What's up?
Wow, both you
I thought it was like
Shocker.
10-7.
Shocker. The two homers have us going 12-5 on the year. Yeah, that's shocker. Hey, 10-7
you
still,
have?
like you said, could have his
Yeah, let's
division.
say that's
so
not-
I think so.
That's not far off. I think
I'm
I think you
in.
could go,
Listen,
I think you could go
I'm in-
plus or minus 2 on any one of those.
Yeah, I'm
Probably more
incapable
minus
of
2
being not objective or but being objective about the past. I'm incapable of that. That's always going to be.
that's the problem.
some green
You're in the
Kool-Aid.
wrong business.
Yeah, I know.
Just say.
That's why I'm doing a Packers show and not a national show.
Hey, folks, thanks for sticking around for a couple extra minutes with us. We will be back
It's a thing now.
next week. Yeah, we'll be. We got to talk about some of this stuff. The guys in shorts,
Well, we'll be able to talk
overhyped.
about training camp finally because it'll be.
Yeah,
playing
you know,
and
the
all
guys that are
stuff.
getting like 8,000 catches and we're making everybody look silly in shorts. So
Yeah.
we have to talk about that. And maybe I'm going to try to get to a practice if it's possible. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But
Get some B-roll.
yeah, we'll try to get some B-roll. So come back again next week, Monday at 7 p.m. with Fred, Matt, and I. We'll talk about some Packers. We appreciate everybody sticking around with us and joining back up with us as we kick off the next season of the Green Bay Packers and, more importantly, the next season of the Freezer Podcast. So with that being said, that's Fred. That's Matt. I'm Sanjay. We'll see you next time. Go.
Go Pack, go,
Pack.
baby.
Go.
Go.